problem for the profession, because when people, let's say you had a car accident tomorrow, and 90% of all disabilities are acquired, by the way, we're not born with them, most of us acquire them in life, and you go to that rehab hospital, you say to the person, what's your first question? Yes, it's very depressing, don't get me wrong. Disability can be extremely depressing. But what you really want to know is what? How do I get my life back? And the answer from your OT is, well, let's see what we can figure out. What you ought to be able to do is go look at dozens or hundreds of people just like you with your specific set of functional limitations and see how they do things. That's when attitude becomes less important, and what becomes more important are the how-tos. What the mom wants to know is, now that I can't use my right hand, how do I change my baby's diaper? How do I take the garbage out? How do I mow the lawn? Well, other than tell my husband to do it. How do I take care of cooking now? What people want to know is the how-tos, and what we want to do is crowdsource the knowledge of disability skills. There are people out there who have every possible disability you can name, probably hundreds, in some cases thousands of them. And what we have to do is get them to become contributors of podcasts and of videos so that when somebody wants to know how to do something, they don't have to make it up. They don't have to make up a life. They can simply look and see how other people just like them do things. Maybe they see 8, 10, or 15 people, and at some point they say, if they can do it, I can do it. And then they go do it, as opposed to having to figure it all out. So, what we've created is the Aging and Disability Skills Gateway. We call it the Aging and Disability Skills Gateway, and because, of course, aging people don't have disabilities, right? They just are old. One guy said to me, I don't walk so good, I don't see so good, I don't hear so good, but I don't have any disabilities. I'm years old, and he's right. If that's what he wants to believe. So we have the agingskills.org as one of our web portals. That's where older folks will go because they don't want to go to a disabilityskills.org site. And we have the disabilityskills.org site. So that's how people are going to get there. What they're going to be able to do is they're going to be able to check off their specific functional limitations. What we're showing you here is sort of an example of checkboxes. If you're low vision, you would check off low vision. If you have limited use of one hand, we can go down and check that off. If you have perhaps a developmental disability, or perhaps you have autism, we're going to divide out autism into several categories. You'll be able to basically give a profile of exactly who you are and what you're looking for. And then you'll be able to pick what you're looking for. What kind of skill do you want to see other people doing, including sex? And you're going to be able to see every kind of how people have learned how to do that. And out of that, you're going to be able to pick what you can do. In other words, your ability to learn is finally going to become equal to what you might have had without a disability. You're going to be able to look around at people just like you and say, here's how they do it. I guess I can learn how to do it as well. It begins with no-tech stuff. It begins with how do you use your body. Then there's low-tech kinds of things, which is sticks and reachers and grabbers and pushers and pullers and levers and things that you can create for almost nothing at home. People are creating these things in their garages all over the world, but nobody knows about it. And then there are, of course, the high-tech things that we've been talking about all this week. It's going to be a user-contributed site, so the people we want to hear from are users, not the professionals and not the medical community and not the experts, but people who can show you exactly how they do things. Because, and we're going to have users evaluating those videos as well, by the way, so that we have qualified users. If you think about what Wikipedia does, Wikipedia has qualified editors out there who look over the material and say, yes, this is useful, this is valuable. No, that's not useful and valuable. We need to work with you to fix it. There are hundreds and thousands, by the way, of videos out there. There's tons of them on YouTube. Unfortunately, they're not categorized so that a person can do anything other than search for blind travel or wheelchair cooking. But if they're using our interface, we're going to be able to help people go and literally specialize and profile themselves so that you can see how people do things. That's the secret. That's the essence of what we're trying to do. What it really is going to involve, if you want to think about it from a marketing standpoint for you companies out there, you're going to have the ability to see what mass customization can look like. You're going to see individual disabilities and how you can modify your products for each category of person. It's a massive online laboratory that we intend to create. The importance of seeing people just like you will become critical as it moves forward. We intend that this will be a self-sustaining advertising platform, by the way. Yes, it costs $3.5 million to get it started, but we're going to use advertising and other professional revenues to keep it going. We don't want to come asking for money forever, but we do need to get this done. You know, scientific knowledge doubles every 10 to 15 years. Disability knowledge doubles every 100 years. And in part, we have to fix that. If we're really going to connect with each other and share our knowledge, we can escalate how quickly the knowledge that we have grows. We can link people up with other people just like them so that they can learn, so that they can participate in forums, so that they can share their ideas. And what excites me is when somebody looks at the 10 ideas on the site and says, you know what, I got a better idea. I know what we can do to make this even work better. That's when everything changes. That's when that mother who had a car accident no longer has to worry about that question. She doesn't have to say, how do I get my life back? She can finally focus on getting her life back. 90% of disability is acquired, as I said before. The fundamental changes in the way people work, live, and thrive are what this project is all about. We believe it's fundamental. We believe it's not a question of whether we do it. We have to do it. We have to find a way for people to learn their skills. I, as a professional, am frankly embarrassed to tell you that when somebody comes into our Center for Independent Living, what we say to them is, gee, let's see what we can figure out about helping you learn to cook. And you know what? When I retire, that next generation is going to come by, and if they don't have a disability skills gateway that they can look up, they're basically going to do the same thing. It's a terribly poor way to pass on knowledge. I love the OTs that I work with. They're phenomenal people, but it's a very imperfect knowledge transmission method that we have to make go away. If you have ideas on funding, if you have ideas on publicizing, if you have ideas on where we can speak about this, we will do anything, we will do whatever it takes, because it's not often that we have the opportunity to change a fundamental of disability. We see a world where anyone with a disability can finally be able to see people just like them accomplishing the task of daily living. That's what it's all about. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I looked up the Twitter handle, but do you remember it? I'm already forgetting it, but I believe it is Image Center. It's Image Center MD. Image Center MD. Yes, I looked it up real quick. So we have about 9 minutes for questions, and you've got an amazing panel up here, and so we'd love to have you participate, ask some questions, make some comments. Thank you. I know I saw myself. And if you don't mind, please state your name.
Hi, my name is Julia Opie. I'm from Ontario in Canada, and I have a question that pertains more to the ties. I know you're speaking with somebody in Canada, St. Elizabeth's,